Hello there, this is Marcus. I am going to give a brief overview of some content hopefully you find valuable. And it starts at the beginning. It's a real estate channel, and I hope to give content in a format that will be somehow interesting. But let's start at what property rights are and how they are given to the citizens of the United States. So it's really fundamental, and it starts before the United States, and it really has to do with the market price. We have to know what private property is and what our government's done, how it outlines the property rights, specifically private property rights to the citizenry. And just let's start at the beginning, the fundamental properties of a capitalist society, and private ownership of property rights, not about real estate, but anything. It's proved to be a gainful proposition historically, and it is fundamental to a capitalist society. And then I'm going to cover why real estate is such a large industry in the United States, at least, and throughout the world, and it stems from property rights. So let's talk about the father of who started talking about this is John Locke, an English philosopher, and his name is associated with other philosophers regarding economics. And I really used to think that economics had to do with money and how it transfers, but it's really a measure, and money is the measure of how people associate and what they do with their time. But he just said, what is property rights? And it's when a person mixes their labor with nature, and then that labor enters the enters the realm that confers an individual ownership. It labors into the object that confers individual ownership. And further, the property rights in a capital society give a person exclusivity to a resource. And of course, we're going to talk about real estate and real property rights. But you can choose, you can exclude people, you can choose the use of it, and you can take the fruits of it, get rights to the service of that property in essence. And you also have, what's very important, is the right to exchange at mutually agreeable terms. And what's real important is how does our government allow for these rights? And it's mainly in the Fifth Amendment and the 14th Amendment. So property rights are a form of legal ownership that allow you to sell, rent, or give away that property once your labor has mixed with nature and enters some type of different realm. But the parts of our government that deal with property rights are in the Fifth Amendment, when it's outlined that can be deprived of life, liberty, or property without the due process of law, or it can be taken for public use without compensation, and that's called expropriation in the real estate world. And it's also outlined in the 14th Amendment, where the citizen of the U.S. or any state is not going to take away your life, your liberty, or your property without due process of law, or deny you or any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. So those are how our private property rights, our rights to private property, are given and outlined in the United States. And back over here to my original proposal is to say, why is real estate ownership such a large industry? Well, it really encompasses many facets of the creation, and some key areas that I would like to explain or highlight is first you have to create a piece of property from raw land. And what services are needed with that? A great many, honestly. You have developers, analysts, surveyors, architects, engineers, building contractors, inspectors, public and private, space planners, mortgage bankers, security companies, title and escrow, insurers, attorneys, appraisers, and of course, real estate agents and brokers. That's just in the creation. And what else do we have? Well, you have the management and maintaining the property, and that includes property managers, asset managers, maintenance engineers, maintenance technicians, corporate managers. Just start imagining how all this is starting to stack up and providing jobs and commerce. Now, when it comes to commerce, I'd like to bring back over this and uh, talk about market price. And market price in a capitalist society originates through the transfer of private property. So market prices, we're transferring those rights, creates an economy, and it creates commerce. So continuing on, we have creators, we have managers, and we also have to transfer those rights. I mean, these economic drivers for the transfer, we have, again, brokers and agents, mortgage bankers, title companies, title insurers, appraisers, surveyors, and insurers as well, further creating more economy and more transfer or things associated with the transfer. So we covered the creation, management, transfers. Let's talk about the holding. Who professions associated with holding property? We have corporate managers and investors that put their money and hold real estate as a commodity and an investment. So further, we've got many different facets and professions associated with those different facets. We have residential and commercial. We have residential held for investment. We have commercial held for investment. And we also have commodities, housing stock as a commodity for places for people to live. And let's round it all out. Once a property has finished its effective life, we're going to destroy it, and there we have demolition contractors and excavators, people associated with that. And to finish it out, we got regulators, the government, private, and public regulators that do things like assess value for taxes to fund the government. We have public planners, zoning inspectors, and building inspectors. So that is why, if you can understand why real estate starts and transfers is such a huge industry and is integral to our capitalist society, and that is private property rights outlined by John Locke way back in the day to infer these rights of exclusivity and the use of that property right, and being able to exchange a property right. And what you'll find out in a later video is how what is thought of to be property ownership is actually just a bundle of rights that can be separated, sold, rented, traded, and you'll get a deeper understanding of just how important it is to our economy and to commerce. All right, well, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching.